Today I'm going to show you how to make hot honey fried cabbage. This is perfect as a side or, in my opinion, a great meal. Here we go. So to go over the ingredients, I'm working with, this is close to 2.5 pounds of cabbage, a head of cabbage. I'm going to chop that up. I'm also going to be working with 1 small to medium onion. Here I have 2 cloves of garlic and 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. I'm also working with bacon. I'm going to chop this up, and this is 1 pound of bacon. If you have a 12-ounce package of bacon, that works as well. I'm going to be seasoning with some salt, pepper, and my Louisiana hot sauce and honey. The ratios are up to you. I'm probably going to use like a tablespoon of the hot sauce and just drizzle maybe 2 teaspoons of the honey. Okay, so first I'm going to work with the green outer leaves of the cabbage. Those are a lot more fibrous and take longer to cook. So I'm going to cut these up. I'm going to roll it and kind of chiffonade this part because it's so fibrous. If you chop it smaller than the rest of the cabbage, it kind of cooks a lot more evenly. And I will be sauteing this part of the cabbage first. Sometimes you can get a head of cabbage that does not have the green leafy part, but today I did. Okay, so now for the rest of the cabbage, I'm just going to cut around the core, and I'm just going to chop this up into like small square pieces. You can definitely chop this thinly, longer pieces. It really is up to you. I just like a chunky square piece. That works for me. Okay, so this is prepped. I have my bacon chopped, and here I have a cold pan. I did not preheat it. I'm adding the bacon in. I'm also going to add 1 cup of water. Using this method, in my opinion, renders out a lot of the bacon fat. So I'm turning on the heat, and it's going to go through stages. So first I'm going to break apart all of the chopped bacon. It doesn't look like much, but trust the process. It's going to go from this to boiling and simmering to this where the water evaporates and it's going to start getting crispy and browning. And then here you have all of that rendered bacon fat. I'm removing some of it. I want most of it in the pan because this is what I'm going to fry the cabbage in, but I will add some to my little bacon bowl there. Okay, I'm going to saute my sliced onions right into the crispy bacon and that rendered bacon fat, and I'm going to saute this until the onion becomes aromatic and translucent. By the way, I am working with a clean spoon now that the bacon is fully cooked. I don't know if you do that when you're cooking bacon or like raw pork or chicken. I do that, but I don't know if that's correct or not. It's just something I do. Anywho, sauteing the onions. Now I'm going to add the minced garlic, those 2 cloves of garlic that I minced. I'm going to add that in there, give it a quick saute, and I'm also going to add that teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. The amount and ratios of some of these ingredients are really up to you. If you don't want a full teaspoon and you want a hint of spice, then scale it down. You don't actually have to add this, but it just adds another level of heat to this dish. So now I'm going in with the leafy part of the cabbage, and I'm going to saute that first for a couple of minutes. And things smell amazing in my kitchen. This is something that we eat a bowl of with a side of cornbread or sometimes on top of rice, and it's a meal in my house. So now I'm going to work in the rest of the cabbage. I'm going to have to do this in batches. It may look like the amount is too much for this pot, but give it time. I'm going to do it like in 2 batches. I'm going to add a little bit of salt here. Well, actually maybe like a ½ teaspoon. Really, you want to season this to your preference and salt as well. I will add some pepper in there eventually, but I'm going to work this into the rest of the saute. And as the cabbage wilts down and starts to saute, I will add the rest of it. And that's how you get a whole bunch of cabbage into what appears to be a smaller pot for the amount that I chopped. So now that all of my cabbage is in the pot, I'm going to cover this with a lid, and I'm going to let it cook down over like a medium-low heat for about 5 minutes, and you can stir throughout. So now I'm going to grab my hot sauce and honey. This should be where I want it to be. Tenderness and how long you want to cook it is to your preference. I still want a little bit of texture to my cabbage. So now I'm going to add my hot sauce. I'm eyeballing. You can start with like a half tablespoon to a full tablespoon. And for the honey, again, it's to your taste. I'm just going to drizzle on maybe about 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon. And I'm going to give this a good mix, give it a taste. And I suggest you check it for salt and seasoning to your preference. So I'm just going to work this in and continue cooking for about 5 minutes. But let me show you a cornbread that I like to serve with this. For the cornbread, I'm working with Jiffy corn muffin mix. You can definitely do a scratch-made cornbread. I do that all the time, but I'm going for easy today. So 1 box of store-bought cornbread mix. And now I'm going to add some pickled jalapeños. I didn't even measure, maybe a tablespoon or 2 of chopped pickled jalapeños. And here I have about 5 to 6 ounces of black pepper smoked white cheddar. You could use sharp cheddar cheese, Colby Jack cheese, and the amount is really up to you. That's what I'm working with today. And this is actually my favorite cheese. It's a black pepper smoky cheddar. I'm going to go in with 1 egg. And I'm just going to add buttermilk in place of the milk that goes into this box mix. And I'm just going to give that a really good mix. I didn't measure the buttermilk, but the instructions call for a 1/3 cup of whole milk or regular milk. With buttermilk, it is thicker, so you might need to add a little more. And I'm just adding it until the batter comes together. I also want to mention, I think Jiffy corn muffin mix is already sweet, but sometimes there are those of you that like it sweeter, so add more sugar if you like. So in a buttered cast iron skillet, or you can use a buttered 8-inch cake pan, I'm going to add all of the batter. And I preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake this until it is done. Somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes. Should do the trick. My cornbread is ready, and everything is hot and ready to serve. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to carefully remove this from the oven, and I'm going to place it on the countertop. And like I stated earlier, use your favorite homemade from scratch cornbread recipe. That also works. I was just going for easy. So I'm going to take a little bit of softened butter, and I'm just going to spread that all over the top. And this pan holds residual heat very well, so you can kind of hear it sizzle as it hits the edge of the pan. But this cornbread is so good, and it's so simple to make. The combination of the pickled jalapeños and that smoky cheddar is just perfect with this meal. And now I definitely need a slice of this cornbread. It is hot, but that's okay because everyone is ready to eat as usual and they want a bite. So that's what I'm going to serve with this delicious hot honey fried cabbage. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.